Hello and welcome to K News. This is Hardik Trivedi. Let's have a look on what is happening in India and in the world. Cyclone Amphan left a trail of destruction in Odisha as it triggered heavy downpour coupled with high velocity winds while hurtling towards West Bengal coast on Wednesday, uprooting trees and flattening fragile structures, officials said. More than 1.41 lakh people living in low-lying areas and thatched and mud houses in vulnerable coastal regions were evacuated and shifted to cyclone shelters, Special Relief Commissioner P.K. Jaina said. The evacuees were accommodated in about 2,900 shelters where cooked food and other facilities were provided, he said, adding that the cyclone developed and moved as per IMD forecast. It took exactly the path forecast by them. I must thank IMD and particularly its Director General Mrutyunjay Mohapatra, as their accurate prediction enabled us to handle the situation ably. As the cyclone passed along Odisha coast, it unleashed intense rainfall in several areas of Puri, Khudra, Jagatsinghpur, Cuttack, Kendrapada, Jajpur, Ganjam, Bhadrak and Balasore districts since Tuesday. Though 2 deaths were reported in Kendrapada and Bhadrak during the cyclone, the exact reasons are being ascertained, the official said. Kendrapada collector Samarth Verma said rupees 12,000 was given as immediate relief and a detailed inquiry will be conducted. As per initial reports, a large number of trees and electric poles have been uprooted, while many thatched and mud houses wound. No major damage has been done to the telecommunications infrastructure and the services remained by and large unaffected. The wind speed near the center of the system is 160 to 170 kilometers per hour, while the wind velocity near Paradip went up to 100 to 120 kilometers per hour in the morning, while its velocity along Bhadrak and Balasore coast was increasing. We have evacuated vulnerable people to maintain zero casualty, said Verma. Amphan is considered to be the second major cyclonic storm in the Bay of Bengal after the super cyclone of 1999, which had claimed around 10,000 lives and inflicted large-scale devastation in Odisha. The cyclone comes a year after Fani barreled through vast parts of Odisha on May 3rd, claiming at least 64 lives and destroying vital infrastructure. The novel coronavirus will not be completely eradicated soon and needs to be accepted as a part of life, NCP chief Sharad Pawar said on Wednesday as he pitched for creating awareness about the healthcare about the masses. Pawar, who held parallels with Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray on Tuesday on challenges posed by COVID-19 and measures needed to bring the state's economy back on track, also suggested the government to come out with schemes to encourage investment in the state. Corona disease will not be completely eradicated shortly. It is necessary to accept the corona as a part of life, beware of it and create awareness among the masses about healthcare. In Japan, people wear masks, look after personal hygiene as part of their routine social life, Pawar tweeted. He urged the people to wear gloves, use masks and sanitizers, and wash their hands with soap from time to time to prevent the coronavirus infection. The former union minister appealed to the state's information department to spread social awareness among the masses about the preventive measures of the novel coronavirus. Pawar, whose party is an alliance partner in the Uddhav Thackeray-led Maharashtra government, called for restoring the situation in the state by relaxing some of the lockdown conditions. Arrangements should be made to convey the information about the level of relaxation to the public at a fixed time every day by day, the state government, he said. With workers migrating to their native places, Pawar said new job opportunities have emerged for unemployed people in Maharashtra and called for drawing up an action plan how to accommodate them in the industry. Earlier, several incentive schemes were operational for industries in backward and underdeveloped areas. In the same vein, new policies for encouraging industrial growth should be released to attract new investment in the state, the veteran leader said. Nothing that the lockdown has disrupted vehicular movement. Pawar underscored the need to take right steps to a gradually restored road transport within the state and plan for the resumption of air and rail services. The pace of work in public and private sports seems to have slowed down. To increase imports, export, and inland shipping, consultations should be held with industrialists, entrepreneurs, and expert officials in the field, the former Maharashtra Chief Minister said. The presence of state ministers and officials needs to be reinstated to build public confidence about the situation in the state returning to normalcy. The NCP chief asked the government to issue appropriate instructions to ministers and officials to be present at their workspace. Shops, offices, and establishments in the private sector should be opened in a staggered manner with complete caution, he added. Joe Biden on Tuesday night deflected questions about President Donald Trump's allegations of improper behavior during the Obama administration and other conspiracy theories pushed by his top allies, saying, "I don't want to get down in the mud with these guys." Speaking at a Yahoo News virtual town hall, Biden, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee, said Trump is trying to distract voters from his inadequate response to the coronavirus pandemic, which has killed more than 90,000 Americans. Trump has said the virus will disappear like a miracle. Broadly dubbing his allegations Obamagate, Trump has pointed to the legal case of his former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, suggesting that the unmasking of Flynn's name as a part of legal US surveillance of foreign targets was criminal and motivated by partisan politics. There is no evidence of that, and Trump's accusations misrepresent the facts of the case. Unmasking of people in surveillance reports is a routine legal activity in government. The Trump administration made 10,000 such requests in 2019, but they don't often become public. And the Flynn's case, Trump supporters point to it as evidence that the Obama loyalists were out to undermine Trump's from the start. The president himself has called it the biggest political crime and scandal in the history of the USA. This is his pattern diversion, Biden said Tuesday. Trump cries of scandal come as the president and many top Republicans have issued increasingly harsh rhetoric against Biden, hoping to foment doubt in voters' mind as election seasons up to the heat. On Wednesday, a Senate committee led by Wisconsin Republican Ron Johnson will vote on whether to issue a subpoena as part of the investigation into Biden's son Hunter and his work for a Ukrainian natural gas company that grew out of Trump's impeachment earlier this year. Over the weekend, Trump's two adult sons appeared to spread baseless online conspiracy theories suggesting other criminal activity by Biden. Asked about that Tuesday, Biden called online post about the matter sick. "People know me. The good news is the bad news. They know me, they know my faults, they know my talents," Biden said. Pointing to his decades in the Senate and 8 years as vice president, he continued, "It's hard to lay on me some of the things that are just totally out of sync with anything in my whole life that anyone ever said about me." Also Tuesday, Biden was asked about Trump's firing Steve Linick as the state's department's inspector general. Some Republicans have defended the move, arguing that it was within the president's right, but Biden and other Democrats say it is part of a larger White House effort to undermine government's oversight. Biden promised not to fire an inspector general should he be elected, saying those positions were designed to make government honest. Equity market benchmark indices S&P, BSE, Sensex and NSE Nifty 50 stag a sharp up move in Wednesday's session to end higher for the second day in a row. Banking, financial services, auto and realty shares were among the leading gainers. The Sensex rose as much as 682 points and the Nifty 50 reclaimed its important psychological level of 9,050. For most part of the day, the benchmark traded firmly higher and added to the gains in last hours of trade on the back of strong rebound in banking shares. The Sensex ended 622 points or 2% higher at 30,819 and the Nifty jumped 187 points or 2.11% to settle 9,067. HDFC Bank, Reliance Industries, Larsen & Toubro and ICICI Bank were among the top contributors to the Sensex. They collectively contributed over 400 points to the 30 share index. All the 11 gauges complied by the National Stock Exchange ended higher, led by the Nifty Pharma Index, which rose. Private bank, realty and auto gauges also closed 2 to 3% higher. Mid and small cap shares also witnessed buying interest, with the Nifty Mid Cap 100 and Nifty Small Cap 100 indices rises over 1% each. Dr. Reddy's Laboratories was the top Nifty gainer, ending 6% higher at rupees 3,919 on the NSE. HDFC, Mahindra & Mahindra, Bharat Petroleum, GAIL India, Larsen & Toubro, UPL, Shree Cement and Eicher Motors were among the gainers. On the flip side, Bharti Airtel, IndusInd Bank, Hero MotoCorp, Vedanta and Bharti Airtel were among the notable losers. Domestic passenger flights will resume from Monday in a calibrated manner, the government said today. Flights were stopped in late March when the country went into lockdown to slow the spread of coronavirus. Domestic civil aviation operations will recommence in a calibrated manner from Monday 25th May 2020. All airports and air carriers are being informed to be ready for operations from 25th May, tweeted Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Puri. SOPs for passenger movement are also being separately issued by the ministry. The government as well as airlines have talked about a new normal when flights start again with fewer passengers in a flight and the middle seat left vacant for physical distancing. Flights were stopped in late March when the government took various measures to slow the spread of coronavirus. Earlier, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi had announced Lockdown 4 with incremental easing of restrictions, aviation regulator DGCA had asserted scheduled commercial passenger flights would stay suspended till May 31. It's time for a short break. We'll join you in a short while.
आपका स्वागत है शीतल स्माइली पार्लर में, जो हमारी सालों की मेहनत और अगली पार्लर आपके पास, आपके शहर में।
To K News and thank you for watching. Let's continue the streak of news. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra said today the buses if you want to use it, do it. Give us permission. If you want to use BJP flags and stickers on buses, then do it. At least let the buses run, Priyanka Gandhi said in a video message released to the media. Otherwise, they will be sent back, but the Congress and its workers will continue to help the migrants with food and all possible help. Speaking shortly before the 4 p.m. deadline, Uttar Pradesh held back on permission to allow the buses to run, accusing the Congress of fraud by listing auto rickshaws, tempos and goods trucks in the name of buses. Late last night, the Yogi Adityanath government filed a first information report against Priyanka Gandhi's secretary for giving wrong details of the buses. In a twist to the ugly political fight, a Congress MLA has attacked her own party. In the hour of crisis, why this petty politics? A list of 1000 buses was sent, but more than half the buses were fake. 297 were defective, 98 were auto rickshaws and ambulance type cars, and 68 vehicles were without registration papers. If there were buses, then why not run them in Rajasthan, Punjab and Maharashtra? All Congress ruled. Aditi Singh, a Congress MLA from Raebareli, the parliamentary constituency of Congress President Sonia Gandhi. Senior Congress leaders stationed themselves at the border this morning, arguing with the UP police. We are here at the here till 4 p.m. Rajiv Shukla told at the DND flyover in Noida. If you say 879 buses are okay, then take those buses. In fact, feel free to put BJP flags on them, but don't let the poor migrants walk, said the Congress veteran. The UP police said the buses cannot be allowed in the state without permission from the administration in Lucknow, since interstate transport is banned in Noida. The UP government on Monday agreed to Priyanka Gandhi's request to allow the Congress to run 1000 buses for migrants. In a letter, the government asked the Congress leader office to send details of the buses. First, the UP government asked that the buses be handed over at state's capital Lucknow. After Congress objected, the UP government asked for 500 buses each to be sent to Noida and Ghaziabad at border Delhi. Later, UP raised objections to the list of buses. Thousands of migrants stranded by coronavirus lockdown left jobless in various cities and desperate to go home have been walking on highways or cycling or riding on trucks. Many have died in road accidents or from hunger and exhaustion. As part of the third phase of its mission to bring back Indian citizens stranded abroad due to COVID-19 pandemic, the Indian Navy will repatriate expatriates stranded in neighboring Sri Lanka in the beginning of next month, defense sources said on Wednesday. The Indian Navy ship INS Jalashva under Operation Samudra Setu will evacuate around 700 Indian nationals stranded in the island nation, the sources said. The ship is expected to start its journey from Colombo on June 1 and arrive in Tuticorin in Tamil Nadu on June 2, they said. The Indian Navy had safely repatriated nearly 1500 Indian nationals from the Maldives in two phases under Operation Samudra Setu in its two vessels INS Jalashva and INS Magar on May 10, 12 and 17. The Indian Cricket Board is unlikely to hire a new chief financial officer in near future, even though Santosh Ragnekar resigned from the post 6 months back. While BCCI CEO Rahul Johri was asked to take back his resignation and continue the end of his tenure, it is learned that the top brass feels there is no immediate requirement of a CFO as the treasurer is their point person. The BCCI is unlikely to recruit a CFO anytime soon. If you read the new constitution carefully, there is a mandatory provision for a chief executive officer, but there is no mention that you need to have a CFO. A senior BCCI official privy to the development told on conditions of anonymity. It was committee of administrators which had recruited Ragnekar. The move was seen as a deliberate ploy to undermine the then treasurer's authority. Once the BCCI had the democratic setup back in place and powers of treasurers restored, the post of CEO become redundant. It is unlikely that in the current situation when sporting bodies are under financial stress, the BCCI would employ another high salaried executive. The current treasurer Arun Dhumal is hands-on, and if he needs help, the CEO at times can double up and do the job of CFO if needed. With BCCI apparel sponsorship deal with sports giants Nike ending soon, The board will soon float tender for fresh sponsorship. During the recent Apex Council meeting, it was decided that a RFP or tender will be floated soon to decide on the next apparel sponsors. Those in the know of the things said in the current economic climate, the BCCI would find it difficult to grab a whopping deal. The BCCI also believes that a transparent tender process would give them a chance to have a good deal instead of a renegotiation. Nike came in as a sponsor way back in 2006 and in 2016. The deal pegged at the rupees 370 crores was renewed for 5 years. The contract ends on September 30 this year. Cab aggregator Ola said on Wednesday that it will lay off 1,400 staff, which is about 35% of its workforce, in a one-time exercise due to the uncertainty caused by the coronavirus pandemic. COVID-19 has led to a drop of 95% in Ola's revenue in 2 months. Co-founder and CEO Bhavish Agrawal said in a note to employees that was published on company's blog. Bengaluru-based Ola Cabs joined a list of startups including SoftBank-backed WeWork, restaurant aggregator Zomato and food delivery services Swiggy that have laid off employees to cut costs. Unfortunately, the COVID crisis continued to unfold all around us, causing unprecedented economic and social destruction. The world is not going to revert to the pre-COVID era anytime soon, Mr. Agrawal wrote in the note. The Ola CEO said the one-time exercise will be completed by the end of this week for the company's mobility business in the country, and by the end of next week for Ola Foods and Ola Financial Services. Ola will give a minimum financial payout comprising 3 months of fixed salary to the affected employees irrespective of the notice period. The departing employees will be able to continue using their medical, life and accident insurance cover and medical insurance cover up to 2 lakhs for parents till December 31, according to the company note. Earlier this week, rival Uber Technologies said it will cut 23% of its global workforce in an attempt to become profitable amid the coronavirus crisis. On Tuesday, Ola resumed services in Bengaluru, Mysuru, Mangaluru and Hubli, Dharwad in Karnataka after the state government allowed its driver to operate 3 and 4 wheelers with precautions. Beijing will never tolerate Taiwan's separation from China, a spokesman at the mainland's top Taiwan body said Wednesday, after President Tsai Ing-wen was inaugurated for a second term. China considers the democratic self-governing island as part of its reunification with the mainland, using military force if necessary. Ma Jianguang, spokesperson for the Taiwan Affairs Office, said China has sufficient ability to defend national sovereignty and territorial integrity. According to official state news agency Xinhua, Beijing would never tolerate any separatist activities or external forces interfering in China's internal politics, he said. That's all for now. Keep watching K News. This is Hardik Trivedi taking your leave. Be alert, be positive, be safe.